Hi, welcome to the Kids Voting Durham presentation on Q&A session and info session on our 2020 internship opportunities. And I'm sorry, I'm having a feedback issue here. On Q&A session and info session on our 2020 internship opportunities. Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm having a feedback issue here. Q&A session on. Okay, sorry about that technical difficulty there. This is my first time using YouTube Live, so you are going to have to bear with me a little bit through this presentation. But this is a info session and a Q&A session for any of you here today on Kids Voting Durham's summer opportunities, remote opportunities for youth internships and youth volunteer opportunities. I'm Carolyn Kruger. I'm the program director for Kids Voting Durham, and I will be working directly with our youth interns and our youth volunteers this summer. And that is one of my favorite parts of my job, is getting to work with youth teams and getting to hear your ideas, your input, and have you help us make the decisions and really lead Kids Voting as an organization. Because one of our primary tenets of this organization is that we need to be youth-led, that our activities and our programs, because they are for youth, should also be by youth, where youth have decision-making ability about content, about our program direction, and about our activities. And this is a great opportunity for any young person who wants to be civically engaged and to help other people who want to be civically engaged be involved and take part. So this is simultaneously broadcasting on Zoom and on YouTube Live. As I go through, if you have questions, please on Zoom, go ahead and type them into the chat box. You can find in the menu on Zoom, it's either if you're on a computer at the bottom or top of your screen, and the same if you're on usually an iPhone or a phone or a tablet. In YouTube, you can type them into the live chat. And if you'll all bear with me, because my assistant who was going to help assist with this and read some questions for me and things is not here. So I'm going to be reading and presenting, but I will try to get to your questions as soon as I can. So let's start. Sorry, first let me tell you just a little bit more about Kids Voting Durham and our mission. Kids Voting is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that helps Durham's K through 12 students, anyone really 18 and under, understand and believe in the power they have as active citizens and informed voters. And we do that in a number of ways. We have hands-on youth engagement opportunities for young people where they actually participate in and do elements of civic engagement. We have classroom educator resources and supports that we provide throughout Durham Public Schools. We have youth leadership opportunities and voice opportunities where we connect young people directly with decision makers in Durham, and where we let decision makers know they need to be hearing youth voice and youth opinions if they are going to be making the best decisions they can for us in our community. And then we do family education and engagement. We do that for two reasons. First of all, we know parents and other adults are a big influence on whether or not a child grows up to be an engaged citizen and an informed voter. But we know the opposite is also true, and that kids have a huge effect on whether adults in their lives actually go out and vote and have an informed vote and understand some of the issues and candidates that are available to them. A few just principles Kids Voting runs by. As I've already told you, we are completely youth-led and youth-directed in terms of particularly our youth activities. We're also nonpartisan, so we do not side with a particular party or a particular candidate. We are here to help give young people particularly the tools and the resources they need to make these decisions and to be engaged in the ways that they want to. We're diverse and representative of all of Durham's youth communities. We want every single last young person to see themselves reflected in Voting Durham programs and to feel included in our programs. We want to make sure that we are doing that in everything from our lesson plans to our youth voice activities to our candidate guide and any of the other activities that we do. We're Durham based. We have a very Durham flavor. We respond to local needs. And that's also because we believe local government is just as important as all the national politics, particularly for young lives that's happening out there. And finally, we're free. We do not do this to make a profit. We provide all our resources to young people and to schools free of charge. In all the activities that we do, we sort of have a formula, pieces that we think need to be there to really make our programs effective. And the first is civic education, knowledge. That is knowing the Constitution, knowing what local government does, what balance of power is between governments. It's the stuff that you're supposed to learn in school. But that alone is not sufficient. You also need to give youth an experience of civic skills. So that's the hands-on practical knowledge of voting, knowing how to register to vote, knowing how to contact your elected official and make your voice heard on a particular issue. And while those two are incredibly powerful keys to being an engaged citizen, there's still one piece that's all too often left out, and that is civic agency and identity, which we think is the third part of this equation. And civic agency identity is that belief that you can make a difference as a citizen and that you will make a difference if you use your voice and your vote. And that's not always an easy thing to come by. It is something that you gain from seeing adults in your life do that and model that for you, by having adults tell you that you are capable of that and that that matters, by actually doing it and having your voice matter, which not all young people have the experience of doing. And then also by seeing people like you reflected in the history that you read, in the programs that you participate in civic life that you read about in newspapers. And so we really try to include all three elements of this in any program, any activity we do, because we really think that is what leads to the end goal that we have, which is to have a really complete, empowered, independent citizen, and develop that in every young person. So that's a little bit about Kids Voting Durham. And again, you can feel free to chime in with questions anytime. There's a little bit of delay on the YouTube side from when I'm talking to when it's being heard, but on Zoom, I'll get the questions right away. But let me tell you, now that I've told you a little bit about Kids Voting Durham, let me tell you a little bit about our internships this summer. So we are going to have teams of interns and volunteers this summer that are available for remote opportunities. So all the work can be done remotely using tools, technology tools, having connection with people who will help support you, who are adults, who are experts in the field, who are staff at Kids Voting Durham, and also working in teams with other young people. We expect that we'll have about 10 high school youth that will, an intern team of about that size, with about 5 college age youth too. But really, if you are 18 and under, you have the upper hand in all of this because you are the young people that we're really letting make the decisions and that we want these materials and programs to speak to. There's a little bit of a difference on if you're going to be an intern or a volunteer. An internship is going to be a commitment of 10 to 25 hours a week. It's going to take place from around June 29th to August 1st. You can be a little bit flexible in those times if you need to take a vacation, if you have days that you need off. The work hours will also be somewhat flexible because while there's things we're doing as a team, there's also things you will be doing independently and can do it anytime you want. That also means you need to be somebody who has that ability to work independently and can also work well in teams with other people. If you're not, and you will get to do all of the activities that we have here below. So you will be on all the teams that I'm about to describe. Although you may have a focus because you have a particular skill that you want to use or develop, there may be that you are more invested in one team than the other and that your assignments are more from one team than the other. But you will also have the opportunity as an intern to participate in our board meetings and our meetings with elected officials and some of the other opportunities that you would get if you were in an office environment that allow you to develop the networks and connections that you look forward to in an internship and that you want out of that kind of a work experience. Then if you don't have quite the ability to make that kind of time commitment, or you want to focus your volunteer work more specifically, we also have summer youth volunteer positions. That is a one-time minimum commitment of 10 hours if you wanted to do a particular piece of a project, or you could commit 2 hours a week to work on one of the projects, again, from the June to August sort of time period. There's a lot of benefits to being a youth intern. I talked a little bit about you getting to network. You'll get to work with some professionals, not just those who work at Durham Cooperative Extension that Kids Voting is a part of, or at Kids Voting, but we have experts coming in from outside who are professionals in video, coding, and some of the other skills and areas that we'll need. So you will have access to them as well. All the volunteer opportunities, whether it's a volunteer opportunity or an internship opportunity, all of them are eligible for service hours. So if you need service hours for a club that you're part of, for a school program, that we will certify service hours for you. All can take part in at least one-to-one direct video guidance and mentoring, which that means online video. So it will be a live in-person session with our program staff at Kids Voting. And you'll also, interns will absolutely take part in once a week team building and skill building sessions. And then volunteers will also be welcome to take part in that. And we've done some really fun things as youth teams in the past that have also they really help you build your team skills, your knowledge about how you best work, and they're just fun. So we are a fun group. Everyone will get name credit on the materials produced and in all the Kids Voting social media. So you'll see we're going to be working on a candidate guide. Your name will go on that. It's a product that you will have at the end of your internship, or if you work on curriculum, that too, with your name on it, that you can use as a future for future employers, future educators, in other things that you do in your life. Interns in particular will get some other benefits. So we will actually measure your skills growth over the course of the internship. You'll take a baseline skills evaluation when you come in, and we'll have targeted some areas that you want to build your skills on, but we'll be able to show your growth at the end of that period. And that's something that, again, you can use with employers on college applications to show what you gained during this summer. You will also have, again, access to, we will make sure that you have the software and the other technological tools you need to fully participate in the internship. And you will have on-call access, not only to myself and other Kids Voting and Cooperative Extension staff, but you'll have access to professionals in the field you're working in for mentorship and advice. And you will each get a personalized letter of recommendation upon completion, because we know that many of you are using this as a stepping stone to another part of your career, to college, to other educational opportunities. So we're very aware of making sure that you get what you are looking for out of this internship in terms of where it takes you for your next steps. So again, I'm just going to remind everyone, we've got a few people online. We've got a few people on the Zoom call that you can go ahead and type in chat anytime that you have a question or want to know more. Otherwise, I'm going to move forward a little bit. So qualifications. You should be 14 to 24. We have some other opportunities for adults and families when they want to volunteer that are posted on our, or will surely be posted on our website at kidsvotingdurham.org. But this particular group of internships, because of the projects that we work on, are just for young people. You need to have a willingness to be nonpartisan and carry out kids voting assignments and represent the organization in a nonpartisan manner. We hope that you all are very passionate about civic engagement and have your own opinions and do have particular candidates that you like and support in your personal life, because that kind of passion makes you better at what you do if you with Kids Voting Durham. But when we are representing Kids Voting Durham and when we're engaging other youth, we need to hold back on that so that we really are more about giving them tools and letting them explore that for themselves. Because of the remote nature of the opportunity, you need the ability to work both independently on your own and complete an assignment. Again, you'll have on-call support, but motivate yourself to meet that deadline on your own. But also with a peer group, you will be assigned to one or more project groups where you'll be working with on the bigger project with from 3 to 7, 8 youth. But you'll also maybe, in addition to having individual assignments, you might be partnered with somebody to complete an assignment. And then if you have a recommendation from a teacher or a youth organization, that's really helpful when you complete the application to us, just in making a fuller assessment of, is this a good fit for both you and for us? So again, I just hope you will answer questions. There are 2 major projects that we're going to be completing this summer as a youth intern and volunteer team. The first one is the Kids Voting Durham Candidate Guide. And you should be able to see now on your screen that a picture of our online candidate guide from 2019. You can see there's a number of different sections. There's some messages to youth about why they should care, to parents about how they should be involved, information on candidates and some videos, information on issues that are important to youth and what the different offices being elected does. All these sections were not only written, but the whole content of the candidate guide was youth-led and youth-decided. And so that is something that we always do with our candidate guide. And we want to make one for 2020 that has these, that is, again, has a youth team actually developing it. In fact, even the design is done. That's a wonderful youth designer that we had working with us. And that's another way that you can work on a youth candidate guide, by doing infographics, doing design, doing writing, helping conceptualize it, writing candidate questionnaires for candidates that we want to have videos or other information from. So deciding what is in the candidate guide and then researching and writing the sections. Also this year, because there will be more voting online and more distance learning, we want there to be a much richer online candidate guide. Our candidate guide has usually been a paper candidate guide. This year, we're going to make it an online candidate guide that we make a paper copy of instead of a paper candidate guide that we paste online. So we want to make it much more interactive. We're going to be looking to have a lot more features that allow you to click and learn and do some activities within the candidate guide. And we're hoping, and this will be a student decision, a youth decision again, to include some new sections, like maybe a student opinion and voice section where students can say which candidates they like best, or they can talk about why they think adults should vote or youth should vote. And then because, and I should mention, this candidate guide goes out to every school. We send it through the libraries. And because it's written by youth for youth, it is much more engaging and appealing than if we had a bunch of adults write this candidate guide. But it also turns out it is the best candidate guide in all of Durham. As many adults use this as kids do. It is the best and most popular candidate guide often in Durham. Even our county commissioners say this is where they go when they want to figure out who they vote for, because you guys do such a good job with this. We usually follow this up with a candidate forum. Again, so youth have another way to decide when they cast their ballot in November, who do they want to vote for with local candidates. We've always done that in person. Again, it's an all youth-led event. Adults are not even allowed to talk at it. And now we're going to have to brainstorm with this group this summer. How do we do this without perhaps coming together in person if that's not possible? How are we still going to make it meaningful and for you all to get to ask and hear from the candidates in the way that you want to, not just having to look at adult versions of that. So that is a fun project team to be a part of. It's always a good, very energetic group of youth with lots of opinions and ideas. And this has been one of my favorite teams to work on every year. So that is the first team. The second big team that we'll be doing is we, as I told you, put together some lesson plans for teachers to use in the classroom that we try to make really engaging for young people, not just what you read in your textbooks, but we try to give teachers tools that really, again, let you have those hands-on experiences of civic engagement. We are going to have to now adapt many of these lesson plans on the importance of voting or how to evaluate a candidate so that teachers can teach them even if you all are not back in the classroom in the fall. So some things that we've heard from teachers, and we really want to know more from youth too about what you found effective and what you'd like to see in some distance learning. And one thing that they said was that they really would like to see lessons where there doesn't have to be teacher instruction necessarily. So if a student cannot make it to a 10 o'clock Zoom lecture, they can still get the instruction. So we are looking at adapting all the instruction portions of our curriculum by animating them with voiceover, or doing PowerPoints with voiceover, or doing video, or some creative things that I can't even think of because I'm an adult, but our youth teams this summer will think of how to make that instruction and the information engaging and interactive for students. And then the other thing we've been told by teachers is it's really hard to tell a student, go watch a video at this website and then go read a article at this other website and then answer these questions, that you have to go to this third website to access and then send it all to me a whole different way through a whole different website. Because that's like 10 different ways I would not be able to do that you can get lost in that particular assignment. So we're really going to try to use tech tools to very easily embed the instruction within the assignments, the ability to do the assignment within the assignment, and the ability to turn it in. And so I'm excited because I am not a big tech person, to learn from all of you what you use for tech in these things, and then from some of our experts that are going to be working with us what's possible. So maybe we'll create some whole new ways of learning. And there's a lot you can do here with not only tech side, but we'll be creating some activities for youth to do, again, as young as kindergartners, as old as 12th grade, and some parts and components of our lessons that will be great to have youth input and ideas on. So that, the third team will be just admin and support. So there will be some basic admin and support things that you can do, everything from actually creating our ballot by cutting and paste or putting in the candidate names and photos, and creating that ballot that youth will use over in the November election, and doing some of the outreach and other activities that let people know what's going to be happening and how to access our events. So that's the third area that we often have interns work in. And then I am going to sort of wrap it up there, and we're going to see if anybody has questions, and then I'm going to let you know how you can apply, how you can get more information, and how you can reach me if you want to talk to someone one-on-one about our opportunities. So I'm trying to keep an eye on both our YouTube chat here and on our Zoom group chat. We'll see if anybody has any questions. And if you don't, that's fine too. We're going to have this available for people to go back and view and to perhaps get some more information. And I hope if there aren't any questions, it's just because I did such a brilliant job. Okay, we do have a question. When is the application due? So The application should be done by next Wednesday, June 17th. Now, we have not put that, and that is so that you can start our actual beginning process of the internship the following week, when we're going to be having our introductions and our team building and group sessions. We have not put that as a firm date on the application, in part because we will, depending on how many openings we have after that, and how many slots we filled, continue to accept applications if people want to apply. But really, to be safe, to make sure you're getting one of the open spots during our decision-making process, and that you're able to be there for our first activities and a lot of the team building and a lot of the initial assignments. You'll also get the best assignments. Next Wednesday, June 17th, is the best time to have it, but we will continue to accept applications probably through the first week in July, as long as we have open internship slots. Does that answer your question? Hopefully it does. Does anybody else have any questions before we move on? Again, I know YouTube's behind us a little bit here, so we may be getting ones from there in a few minutes. Well, while we're waiting, and continue to ask questions if you have any, let me just tell you how you can get a hold of me and how you can go ahead and get to the application and more information about the internships, as well as just Kids Voting. So again, I'm Carolyn Kruger. I'm the program director for Kids Voting Durham. And again, Kids Voting Durham is part of a larger organization called the Durham Cooperative Extension, which is a wonderful organization that's a partnership between our county government in Durham and our land grant universities here in North Carolina, which are NCSU and A&T. And we have a host of wonderful programs, youth programs like 4-H, family programs like Welcome Baby and PFAST, agriculture programs, master gardeners, cooking and health and nutrition programs. So it's a very rich and dynamic organization, and we're glad to be a part of it. You can reach me directly at my email. I have two of them, CKREUGER@dconc.gov, or info@kidsvotingdurham.org is sometimes easier to remember. My phone number is 919-560-7321. And if I'm not here, it's not my official voicemail, because all my work phone is being forwarded to my personal phone, but please leave a message anyways, because that's where I'm answering my work calls while we are all at work and home mode. And then our website is just another great source of information. It's kidsvotingdurham.org. And then, of course, you can find us on Facebook, on YouTube, where we are now, on Twitter, Instagram, and this is more of a teacher thing. I doubt too many of you youth are on here, but Pinterest. If you want to apply or you want to see the full job description, you can go to that same website, kidsvotingdurham.org/2020-interns. And there should be a link on the right-hand side that says apply here. It will be a SurveyMonkey link. It is a fairly quick application to fill out. You'll just give some information about your contact information, whether you want an internship or a volunteer opportunity, how many hours you would like to work a week or per project, what projects you're particularly interested in working on, if there's particular skills you want to develop, what you want out of an internship, and then you'll leave that reference if you have one, which would be useful for us, with just an email or a phone number. And then you can leave any other comments that you want. But if you're having any problems with the application, or really if you have any questions, please feel free to either email me or call me. Unfortunately, I can't receive texts at that number, but if you email me, I will give you a number where you can text if that is really the best way for you to communicate. So I think that's all that I have from my end. Is there anything else anyone would like to ask or add? Okay. Well, thank you so much. I hope to hear from many of you, and I hope to see applications from you. I am really looking forward to, again, working with a youth team this summer and to what we will produce. So whether or not you apply, stay tuned and look for our candidate guide to be out in August and some of the other great materials and programs we'll be producing. Thank you.